In the book of Job, Elihu is a young man who speaks after Job, and his three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, have debated the reason for Job's suffering. Elihu is distinct from the others because he addresses both Job and his friends, critiquing their arguments and offering his own perspective on God's justice and Job's suffering. Elihu's role and arguments. Critique of Job. Elihu argues that Job is not justified in his righteous claims, and that his suffering is a consequence of his own self-righteousness, rather than a punishment from God. He believes Job should recognize his suffering as a discipline from God, leading to reconciliation. Critique of Job's friends. Elihu also criticizes Job's friends for failing to adequately address Job's plight and for their simplistic explanations of suffering as solely punishment for sin. Defense of God's justice. Elihu attempts to defend God's justice by arguing that suffering is a way for God to teach individuals humility and to bring them back from the brink of Sheol, the place of the dead. Superhuman intermediary. Elihu introduces the idea of a superhuman intermediary who will help restore Job to God, a concept not found in the speeches of the other three friends. Emphasis on God's power and wisdom. Elihu concludes his arguments by emphasizing God's omnipotence, justice, and the unsearchable greatness of his works. Elihu's place in the narrative. A later interpolation. Some scholars believe that Elihu's speeches may be a later addition to the book of Job, as they differ in style and tone from the rest of the work, and he's not mentioned elsewhere in the book. Preparation for God's speech. Elihu's speeches are seen as a way to prepare the reader for God's direct intervention in the narrative, which follows Elihu's final speech. Mystery and purpose. Elihu's sudden appearance and the nature of his arguments have led to various interpretations of his role and purpose in the book. Some see him as a true prophet, while others view him as a critic who ultimately fails to provide a satisfactory explanation for Job's suffering.